It's Money Matters, an NSCC financial literacy podcast situated in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. And now here's your host, Matt Curry.
Hello and welcome to Money Matters podcast. I'm your host, Matt Curry. Am I a financial expert? Heck no. But I do know a few things, and I know people who know a few more things, and that's what this podcast is about, connecting all those pieces together. I've got a special guest with me today, Nicole Osmond, who is the manager of entrepreneurship at NSCC. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Matt. Great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining. Welcome to the podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about NSCC Entrepreneurship? I know lots of students have probably heard entrepreneurship mentioned here and there, but anything that you can do to kind of help students better understand what you do?
Great question. So at NSCC Entrepreneurship, we are all about supporting students, alumni, staff, faculty, explore that space of entrepreneurship. So that can look and feel different for everyone. It could be about starting a business. So we could provide some resources, some programming, some support, sometimes some funding for students that are pursuing entrepreneurship as a goal, like starting a business as a goal. We also have a lot of programming around helping students, I guess, just navigate and figure out if entrepreneurship is the right career path for them. So perhaps they have an idea for a business, but they're not certain what the next step could be or what that even looks like or things they need to consider or who they should connect with. Then we can help guide them through that. So figuring out what's the right kind of support for them based on where they're at in an entrepreneurial journey. So those are some of the things we do. Other stuff we do is really encouraging students to think about that entrepreneurial mindset. So whether they're going into starting a business themselves, there's a good likelihood, if they're staying in Nova Scotia, that they're going to be working in a small business. A large percentage, almost 98% of the businesses in Nova Scotia would be considered small to medium size. So there's a good chance that they could be working in a small to medium sized business. So bringing with them this entrepreneurial mindset. So they look at how they problem solve, how they identify opportunities, how they kind of work through some situations that with the customer in mind or the client in mind. So all of these different skill sets and attitude that has an entrepreneurial mindset to it, we recognize that that's going to benefit a student no matter where they go, whether they start their own business or they're working for somewhere else. They will be contributing value in that way to a business. So entrepreneurship can be a lot of different things. We love that it is, and it looks and feels differently for everyone. We say there's no one size fits all. It's whatever size fits you. And we have a program or resource or support that's going to fit wherever wherever the student kind of fits in their journey. We're here ready to support and help navigate, I guess, through that process and what that looks like.
That's really cool, Nicole. I think, some folks might have a bit of intimidation or be overwhelmed at the idea of, or this kind of assumption they might make about what entrepreneurship is. And so it's so great that like a lot broader than what one might think it is, which is, starting a business. So that's awesome. I know that you folks do a lot of different programs. One in particular that I was hoping maybe you could shed a little light on is the Entrepreneur in the Making, just because I know that there is funding attached to that. And this is a money podcast. Mm-hmm. So can you tell me a little bit about that program?
Sure. So since 2020, we have been delivering a program called Entrepreneur in the Making. It's sponsored in large part by Scotia Bank. And what this program is, it's a year-long program. Students or alumni could apply from their campus, and one person, they could be a student or an alumni, are selected per campus to be the entrepreneur in the making for the year. And what that entails is that there's funding of up to $3,000. And this is a grant, which is a really nice size grant. and it helps students activate an idea. They have an idea for a business. They apply to the Entrepreneur in the Making. If they're selected, then they would indicate in their application like what they could use the money for. And that could be a whole variety of things. So they really determine that based on their own idea, their own situation, what their needs are. It has to go towards the business, activating that business and moving it forward. So up to $3,000, that's a nice little grant. And then in addition to the grant, we have wraparound supports. So it's never just about the money. It's also about how can we help you and support you in this process. So we have mentorship as a part of it, either identify a mentor and get matched with that mentor. And then they do at least 5 hours of mentoring with the mentor, or we can match them with the mentor. They also have business advisory support. So they meet with a business advisor and talk things through and know that there's a resource there if they have questions and they're wondering what this next step could be or what implication this has on their business, or just some general brainstorming, idea generation, all that stuff. They also come together as a peer group. We bring them back together virtually to connect and share with each other some of their milestones, maybe some of their challenges, some of their successes, like all of that. So they're together as a cohort. And then once a month, we also deliver a virtual webinar. It's an hour long and it could be on any kind of topic. Generally, it's a topic that we're finding that is a common theme of maybe there's a skill gap there or there's a general interest, and then we bring in a facilitator to share information on that topic. So it could be marketing, it could be pricing, it could be money management, it could be all the different things. And then we deliver that once a month to them virtually. And those sessions are recorded. If they can't make it, they can always come back and view it at their own leisure. So there's a lot of support around that. But a big part of it, of course, is that $3,000 grant that they have access to. And that's provided to them to really move forward with an idea. And the beauty of Entrepreneur in the Making is that there is no expectation that at the end of the program that they have this full-time business that they're launching into and doing all of that. There's no expectation of that. The expectation is that they use the time with the entrepreneur as the Entrepreneur in the Making for their campus to explore what their business idea could be. So they're trying things, they're testing things, they're having a product and then selling it at a weekend farmer's market and getting all that wonderful feedback and close connection that they have with potential customers, and taking that information and applying that into their business to help make some informed decisions on how they move it forward and some of the things that they could do better and all that. So that's the beauty of Entrepreneur in the Making. It's a highly competitive program, I think, to get into. Last year, we had, I think, in total 174 applications across the province. So when you're putting in an application, you want to really make yourself shine. Really highlight all the key things that matter, because that is reviewed by a committee, and then the committee ranks and scores, and then the top application per each campus would be selected.
Well, what an incredible opportunity to nurture, explore, incubate an idea, and then gain such invaluable skills and experience along the way. Is there support for students completing the applications, or?
We could certainly meet with a student and happy to answer any questions, happy to kind of give some feedback around how to strengthen the application. Ourselves in entrepreneurship, we are not the ones reviewing the applications. That's a different group of people. So we are arm's length to it. And of course, we're meeting with students all the time. And when you chat with them, you hear about the excitement that they have about an idea, encouraging them all the time to, keep an eye out for this Entrepreneur in the Making program. Really put some attention to this, because this could be the game changer to whatever we can do to help, applicants have the best application going in. We're happy to support that.
That's amazing, Nicole. You folks do so much. Are there any other kind of resources that you wanted to highlight?
Yeah, absolutely. We are a busy department, that's for sure. And I think that's a great indicator of the growing interest, I think, in entrepreneurship, and where people see that as an opportunity. Again, back to the point of entrepreneurship, there's no one size fits all. So oftentimes we see students, you could be a full-time student, you could be working somewhere part-time, and you start a side hustle, right? So it just looks and feels differently. So we have programs that really kind of connect to and support the student wherever they're at. So a program that we're doing, and we're really happy about it because we partner with Dalhousie University and other post-secondary institutions in Atlantic Canada to deliver a program. I guess just been rebranded Campus to Market. There's 3 different components of that program. So it's all done virtually for us. NSCC is one of the key delivery partners for that. We deliver the first phase of the program, which is called Discover, and that's about exploring entrepreneurship, some of the concepts, some of the tools, some of the shaping of your ideas, connecting with resources. So that's done virtually. It's about an hour and a half a week, and it runs over 7 weeks. So we do that at different phases of the year. And the second phase of that Campus to Market program is called Validate. So that's students that have an idea. It could be alumni too, actually. Students and alumni that have a business idea, and now they want to kind of put it through the rigor of validating whether or not this is a good idea. If somebody comes to me and says, "Can you tell me, this is my idea, can you tell me if it's a good one?" My response is, I have no idea. Like, I have no idea if it's a good one. You need to go out and do the work and figure out if that is a good idea. Talk to your potential customers. Talk to the people who are influencing the buying decision. Get to understand the problem that your business, product, service is solving. So that's what Validate would help them do. They come together. Again, it's virtual. It's an hour and a half each week, and that runs over 7 weeks. So we have different programs like that we are doing in partnership with other post-secondary institutions. So that's a really cool one that I want to make sure students know about. Another cool one is innovation sprints. These 4-hour fast-paced events. We partner with St. Mary's University, and we are doing an innovation sprint once a month, and we are moving them around, doing them at different campuses. And essentially what we do is we invite an alumni, and it could be an NSCC alumni or a St. Mary's alumni, somebody who has a business and they have perhaps a challenge or an opportunity. I always say challenge is an opportunity. And they come in, share their business, and share that challenge or opportunity that they have with students. Students go to work in teams. They ideate, they come up with some really cool ideas to help this business, and then they pitch it back to the business and they win cash prizes. For 4 hours, you can walk away with $1,000.
No higher paying job than that.
Yeah, right. And you're helping a business owner in your community. You're investing in your community through entrepreneurship in this innovative kind of brainstorming, ideation, problem-solving way. Great way to apply the theory of what you're learning in the classroom into a real-life situation. We also have a makerspace, and we have a makerspace network. Whether you're in Dartmouth, like in metro area, we have a Dartmouth makerspace. It's very close to the Albany campus. Students are welcome to use that. There's 3D printers, there's engravers, there's sewing machines, there's Cricuts, there's like electronic stuff, there's all this stuff. You can come in, play with it, tinker with it, build stuff, and that's there for free for students to access. In Burridge Camp in Yarmouth area, we have the Cube, and there's the locations there where students can come in, try things, use a 3D printer, use the tools, and then in Sydney Waterfront Campus as well. You'll have access to all that. Collaborating that way and working together and giving students the opportunity to just try stuff. Maybe as a prototype comes out of it, and you never know.
Yeah, so many ways for students to get involved and try kind of new and interesting and creative things. So if students want to find out more, obviously the NSCC website, connect.
Yep.
If you're a student that's listening, highly recommend that you explore these opportunities, check them out, because you never know what lies beneath. I ask every guest that we have on the podcast, Nicole, about financial tips. So you were a student once. If you could give your former student self a tip or two about finances, what might they be?
I was thinking about this, and I would say one of the important things early on is to protect your credit.
Yes,
like if you're building credit, and meaning like if you have a credit card or maybe a car loan or things like that, you want to really safeguard and protect that. So all the ways that you can do that, making sure you're making at least the minimum payments. Like, what is your balance outstanding on your credit card? Like, trying to keep it within at least like 50% of what the total amount that you could get. Say if you got a credit card for $1,000, like don't run it right to the 1,000 and then try to make, the minimum payments. Like try to just safeguard your credit, and recognize what your credit score is. Take ownership of that, because especially in entrepreneurship, like what I've seen is if somebody's looking to pursue a business and perhaps they need financing or funding or support to do that, oftentimes we just go to the personal stuff first, max that out. That affects your credit score and your ability to leverage other funding.
Good tip.
And we often hear bootstrap the business, do this, and but that doesn't mean max out all your personal stuff and then be in such a situation where you don't have room to move, and then you're stressed and you don't have options then. If you go to a bank, it's less likely that they're going to see you as a positive kind of candidate, right? If you're already in that stressed position. So protect your credit, understand it, know what your score is, use that strategically, and that could help you in the long run. It will absolutely help you in the long run. I don't think we say that enough. I know coming through school, and I think back, I don't remember ever learning about credit and what that means, right? How that could impact future decisions.
You're so right. Yeah, it's such a valuable, good tip. Before we go, any final tidbits that you wanted to share that we might not have covered, Nicole?
I just think if you're out there and you're thinking about starting a business or entrepreneurship or what that looks like, reach out to us. We're here. We're a friendly department. We love to connect with students. If you see us out and about in your campus, come say hi and learn about what we're doing. Lean into it a bit. Have fun with it. There's all kinds of opportunities where you can explore that inner entrepreneur and see what it looks like. And just know that it's not always about starting a business. It could look and feel differently, and it should feel that way for everyone. Lean into what makes sense for you and what feels right for you. We might not always have the answer for you, but we're going to help you find it, and we're here to support you along the way. E2@nscc.ca, that's our general inbox. So E and then the number 2 and at nscc.ca, and if you send a note there, you'll find us. Or like you said, Matt, we're on Connect, we're on the website, all the things.
There you have it. And I can certainly vouch for the fact that you are a friendly bunch. So I'm sure students would really enjoy connecting with you. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing this really incredible and awesome information.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. We appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to Money Matters with Matt. I hope you learned something new. If you've got an idea for a topic for a future episode, drop us an email at awards@nscc.ca. You can also send us a question there, and we will answer it in a future episode. Any resources or links that we discussed during this episode are available in the show notes. Thanks. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Money Matters, an NSCC financial literacy podcast. Make sure to subscribe to NSCC's YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode. Until next time.